Hi guys, Emily from Violet Rays Jane. Please like, subscribe, share. My link is below my website. Welcome. So I wanted to just read you a story that I wrote a couple years ago, actually in 2016. And this is about a way of thinking. I called it weightless immunity. But what this means is how to choose your reality. So please follow along if you can, take what you will from it. But there's so many messages within this that I thought rather than doing a video about how to break free from the matrix, how to unravel your mind, how to unprogram your mind, that by reading this may inspire that to occur organically. We are here to set ourselves free. We are here to liberate humanity. How we do this is through our own individual healing. How we do this is about bringing the unconscious conscious. So until we have the awareness of that itself, can that happen? And we consciously orchestrate the domino effect of that throughout our psyche, throughout our body, and throughout the collective. So as an individual does that, it will affect the collective consciousness. So as each one of us turns our lights on, we awaken. Think of like a city of lights, and when there's a blackout, when one person has light or power because they have a generator, there's a light, there's a light, there's a light, there's a light, and think that all of them come on, we're full of light. So basically in the awakening, that's what it looks like. We're lighting up this planet. We're going from darkness to light. So this is called weightless immunity for your freedom. With the quote to begin by Albert Camus, I believe. The only way to deal with an unfree world is to become so absolutely free that your existence is an act of rebellion. Okay, weightless immunity. Today, I can choose where I want to go and why, if I want to participate or observe, if I want to expose myself or retract into whatever mystical realm I feel like envisioning. I can choose to explain my choices to you, or be silent and still like a majestic flower in a field of interwoven grasses. However I want to be, I will be. If I want to breathe life into my every thought and manifest each one into this physical reality, I can. I can let my peripatetic thoughts rule my world, or I can dismiss them like I would an overtired and cranky child who's whining for my attention. This life is about being who you've always wanted to be and continuously nurturing who you really are. No more masks, no more balls and chain. The chains that latch my wrists together were the ones that I had created. I allowed the dense weight of limiting beliefs, unfortunate spirit suppressing experiences, and the open wound inside me to stagnate my forward movement. The balls I have been relentlessly dragging were also by choice. But due to lack of awareness, I had accepted them simply as burdens that were my fate to carry. Now that I see the true work of gravity with such colossal and unnecessarily harmful attachments, my choice is to be free. I'm free to believe in things that matter or that don't in the bigger scheme of things. I can display behavior that goes against those beliefs or become my own rigid castle with no drawbridge to walk across. Connections within your heart are all that you truly own. I don't own a moment with someone. We contribute to it together to create something in time that we can never recreate. What I own is that feeling I had that only my cells can articulate. Saying goodbye to that moment is one of the hardest realizations I have had. The freedom to live through my memories is a golden option, however, equally torturous and inhibiting as I linger within that cyclical movement. When I chase the illusion of what has passed, it removes my present freedom. How about the perplexing thought of what is real and what is real freedom? I have the freedom to determine my own reality, varying my perspectives during this enlightening experience in boundless space and time that man tries to define. But who is to discern this? Are my words real simply because you can see them, hear them in tangible format that can be accessed because they are cemented in this vast virtual world? Was the moment I first saw you real? When I became submerged in that utterly euphoric feeling that caused my blood to rush to places within my body that I never knew fathomably possible? If no one else could see it or feel it but me, was it real? Did I freely feel and experience that moment in time? Is time real? Every moment we have is another opportunity to be real, free, and experience whatever the fuck we want to experience. Sometimes it feels like what we label as time is actually the restricting factor to mastering our own potential. Death is the underlying fear for many. This I will let you ponder in your time. We can waste it, be controlled by it, forget it, lose it, appreciate it, wish we had more of it, regret it, or take advantage of it. It's something we have no control over, nor should we attempt to force such nonsense. I am free to be void of pain, explode in spontaneity, be ambiguous and reckless, forget my dreams, live in a forest, believe in miracles, and navigate in the reality of my choosing. Where are you right now? In what space and time? Are you lugging around security-based fallacies? Are you a flying fairy because today you choose magic as your religion? Immunity from the desperate illusion of any rules except for your own is when being weightless is formed. So take that in for a minute. It's about understanding the concept of what freedom is and knowing that freedom comes from within the mind. Freedom from the mind, mastering the space and time where we exist, where we can rhyme or not. I want to remind you that you are in charge. Now, if you're in a situation like I have been in the last many years, say, where I didn't have a say in my living situation due to financial restriction, what happened was I began to die. And so, in order to save myself, I had to ask myself, why? Why am I in this situation? Why am I not able to break free from this environment or become independent and detached from this control around me due to my own lack? So I had to look at, why am I in lack? What belief is within me that's limiting my ability to support myself. I was dealing with chronic illness. That was my limitation at the time. Therefore, I was dependent. However, as much as I tried to heal, I could not. And even with hypnosis and other attempts at breaking these limiting beliefs, what came to be was that I had to make the choices that I feared the most, and make a leap, jump off the cliff to the place of impossibility, where you don't think that it's accessible to you to be able to make it or survive. And so, because I was on the edge for so long anyways, I leapt. And here I am today, outside of normal society, living on the road, nomadically, and my awakening, my journey, my consistent drive to be free in all ways stems from feeling locked in a cage. The cage was first my body, then it was the rules in my house, and then it was school, and then it was society, and it utterly just became the programs running in my mind. So I had to look at what power I did have and what power I do have every moment to choose my reality. If you're in a place of limitation and lack, this is for a purpose, and this is serving your soul's evolution. In a really challenging position is the only way that you'll be able to look outside the box. If you're not cornered enough, pressured enough, will you give it your all? Will you try those things that would terrify you otherwise? When you feel like you don't have a choice anymore, you will do the things you fear the most. The title of what I just read to you, that I wrote when I first traveled, I went on foot with a backpack for 8 months, not knowing. I had a work exchange set up at the very beginning of where I landed, and then I didn't know how long I was staying there and where I was going next and what I was going to do. And that was my first, I want to say, journey. And I wrote this during that time, and I remember I think I ended up at a hostel. I was working at one to stay for free, and I wrote that laying in my bunk. I remember, because I was just laying there pondering the struggle I was in. I had left struggle to go on the road to struggle more, but it taught me so much. It taught me, being on the road, where am I going to sleep tonight? What am I going to do? Where am I going to end up? That leap off the cliff I've taken many times since, and it's what I did once again the last couple years. I went on the road again, and I believe that was my training. So for you to understand what your concept of freedom is, first of all, this awakening journey, this awakening, remembering, healing journey is about finding oneself, remembering the power within, reconnecting the parts of you that have been separated. And so on my journey on the road, trying to find myself, trying to find others, trying to find meaning in this world where I felt it had lost it. And I wanted to find others that thought like me, because I die in environments that are extremely controlled and where I'm dependent on the rules of others, that can feel sometimes very harmful to my psyche, very harmful to my body, very harmful to my mental health. And physical health, I would get physically ill in certain environments when people are negative, caught in the trap of the prison of their mind. They project their own prisons onto you when you're in the vicinity of them. So I'm very susceptible to being imprisoned again. And when I was at that hostel and I wrote this, and I was like, how about I just stop? How about I just stop apologizing? How about I just stop, explaining myself and just do whatever the fuck I want? That's what freedom is to me. And within that, within what you want, that does not mean to harm yourself or others, that you can be irresponsible, you can be responsible. It's your choice. The point is you're free when you feel, when you know you have a choice. It all comes down to choice. So say in what happened in 2020, where we were being forced to told that we didn't have a choice to do those things and live in fear, I was like, fuck no. Bro. I'm not in fear. You cannot tell me to be in fear either. You cannot tell me to do that. You cannot tell me to do that. And they pushed society into a corner, making them feel like there was no choice. And then the guilt from others who chose, they said, you do have a choice, but you really don't. And this world that came to that place where I've already lived so many times in my life where I didn't feel like a choice. And it's like, you always do have a choice. If you're in a marriage with a bunch of kids, financially tied, no family, nowhere to go, and you're, responsible for your children, and you have a lot of things on your shoulders, you feel you have no choice but to keep going on. And what I can say is the choice to go on is yours. The choice to stop living in resistance to your reality is yours. The choice to start looking at options, alternatives to how you may separate your life from that current reality. You can choose to accept it, and you can choose your own guidelines, or choose your escape and say, I have been on a path, a long path, I want to say, of being an escape artist from, leaving my childhood home to leaving multiple other places I've lived with people, jobs and situations. And especially being on the road back then, many years ago, being on the road the last 2 years, I've had to escape many times. And my choice, and that word escape sounds like fleeing, running away, or like some kind of victim mentality. But we can change it to setting myself free, making a choice that once it feels limited, do I leave? And every time we come up against the wall in a limit, do we have to look within our own limits, within our mind? Because that's the only place we can be free. If you're in jail, imprisoned for 20 years, you can set yourself free with the power of your mind. You can choose to exercise, learn. If you're getting, if there's abuse and trauma, you can surrender yourself to the divine and believe that there's bigger forces at play, that there is help on the way. You can choose your beliefs. And I don't mean delude yourself. I mean believe in something bigger than you. I mean, that's why most people turn to religion. I didn't turn to religion, but I started by believing in a higher power and something of a higher level of consciousness, because I remember in 2011, I was an addictions counselor, and my client, he made it a year sober, was doing great. Something awful happened. He was back on the street, ended up relapsing, and then died. And he was doing so well. And at that point, I was like, okay, why am I helping all these people? He was the first one that I was really close to die. And I was like, if one, the majority of them continue to relapse, but two, or they die, because very few make it. And I was like, I'm giving my life to help them. And it makes me sad, funny, bringing this up. And I screamed. I remember driving and screaming and saying, if we're just in this karmic cycle loop and our soul just keeps coming back over and over and over again to learn the lessons, and I'm here to assist them learn their lessons, what the fuck is the point? They're just not going to have to come back and do it over anyway. What am I giving my life for then? To assist in their learning? And of course, I'm getting reflections in my own learning within it. But I screamed, who am I working for? And that's when it hit me. Bigger than this planet. I don't work for an employer. I don't work for the government or the country. I work for the consciousness, the all that is, the God creator of all the universes and all the galaxies. I am working to help bring light. I work outside of this matrix. I serve the light. So once I ask that question, that's when answers start to come. So you have to get into a place where you're backed in the corner to ask, wait a minute, how did I get here? Why am I backed in a corner? Or for all of humanity during the pandemic, wait a minute, what happened? Why are we all locked in our houses? Why all of a sudden am I, this rumbling within me making me question all of my life choices and who I am? Why did I make those choices? Most of us are in survival is why. So we don't feel we have a choice when we're in survival. But in survival, it will finally bring you to a place of, oh no, I know how to survive now. And I do have a choice. And my choice is to be free. And freedom to me is staying in integrity of my belief and being in alignment with love and how to do the most loving thing for myself and others. Weightless immunity, that title. Weightless is free because we're light. Immunity means we're immune. We're immune from weight because we're the light. So I can choose to carry weight. If I have a lot of grief, if something happens, there's definitely a period of time I don't want to carry it, but I have to until it's fully processed, right? But I can choose how long I carry the most dense weight of it, like how long it's going to take me to finally face it, how long it's going to take me to feel it. We don't have control over how long it will take to be fully released. Grief can go on forever, but I can choose the weight it takes, and how it affects the rest of my life to a degree. I can choose to say, it's okay, I accept this grief. I accept this weight. When we accept it, then the weight gets lighter because we're choosing to carry it. You feel you don't have a choice to carry grief. You know, somebody close to you passed away. But you're like in a space of, I accept this grief and I will take it piecemeal at a time, and I choose to face it when I'm ready. I choose to take care of myself in a healthful way and honor my needs. This is how we heal. This is how we awaken. This is how the world awakens, and how we are liberated by understanding that we are one choice away from being free. The littlest change in daily habit and behavior can set a part of your energy free. So if you stop scrolling 5 hours a day on your social media and go down to 1 hour, not only did you give yourself 4 hours back of freedom to do other things, that the energy drain of scrolling, all of that energy you get back, you're free. It's free. So we can free ourselves a lot of stress when we stop giving to things that don't give back our energy. We can choose to be free in, say, a job we hate, but how much attachment to, you know, the original goal we had of that job, if we start to disconnect, detach, and like make an action plan, or that's when we start to look outside the box. But it's like going to that job knowing that we will set ourselves free. This isn't our forever reality. That's a choice. I know a lot of these situations feel very hard, but when you come to a place where you don't feel like you have a choice and you feel powerless, that's when you stand up and say, no, 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 this is my life, mine. I do have a choice. Let's try to see how I can choose this differently and or accept this reality. Therefore, I'm choosing it. Understanding that you're choosing your reality is very hard, because say something awful happens, you get in a car accident or something, just, you can't say that you chose that. It was already written, but that your soul chose for you to experience that, for the lesson lying underneath of it. Everything comes down to a choice. And you can debate that on many circumstances, but you can find a choice within acceptance. You can find a choice within a choice. The idea of being liberated, even still being in your same reality, knowing that as I continue to choose, say, more healthy habits, or more love and compassion in situations, your reality will change. You will not be in that same reality. You're changing it. So you have a choice. It's hard to say, well, you can choose to be happy. Like happiness is a choice. Love is a choice, and it is. As weird as that sounds, it is. When you don't love someone anymore or something, you can choose to still care for it. You can choose to still put your energy into it. You can choose that you don't love it as much, or you can choose to say, I'm walking away. But there's still a choice. Good one. I just thought of it. So say you're in labor about to have a baby. A woman's in labor about to have a baby. She doesn't have a choice to say, no, this baby's not coming out. Right? She can't resist that inevitability. What can she choose in that moment? What can she choose? She can choose surrender to stop the resistance to the inevitability. That's her freedom. Because the more she clenches and resists, the harder, the more struggle, the more pain. If she says, well, I'm looking at this reality, I made a baby, I knew it was coming, and wow, out she's coming, I see a head crowning, I can choose to relax and surrender. That's the choice. We have so many choices that seem impossible. And the point of this talk today, I want to say, about freedom, about awakening, about us healing and owning more of our consciousness, is that you can choose to break free one choice at a time. And then liberation each. So here's freedom in your definition. Each choice you make, you will get there. And then your whole reality will be that. If that's your grounded in root, drive, and foundation, like it is mine, then everything I look at is I feel like I don't have a choice but to appease this person, otherwise they'll get mad. I can choose to appease them because I want to be in a, peaceful environment. I can choose to not appease them and deal with whatever those consequences are. I can choose to not deal with them at all and figure out a way. It comes down to resourcefulness. It comes down to saying, what do I have to do? What is a have to? What is a need to? What is a want to? Dealing with certain people, it's like, okay, I have to deal with this delivery guy. Every day he shows up, I have to sign it. He's miserable, to get my package. I can choose to be smiling every time I see him. But maybe I can't choose if I see him or not, because I'm the one, that has to sign for the delivery. I can choose to make a complaint to his boss. I can choose to not be present and make it a quick interaction. It comes down to choice, freedom, healing, awakening. When we're stuck and we can't get out of that stuck state we're in, we can choose to say, I feel stuck. This is my reality. But not forever. And make a choice to surrender whatever is keeping you stuck and make that your belief. I will be stuck until the answers arise. They have not arisen yet, but I know that they will. That's your choice. And when you make a choice with an intention, your intention must be clear, because intention is what is always delivered. And most of your intentions may be unconscious. You could say, I'm helping people because I really want to help people. Or you could say, I'm helping people because I need to feel needed, or I need purpose, or I need an income, or I need to feel seen myself, or I need help, or I wish someone would come and help me, But it's like your intention within your unconscious needs to be clear. You need to bring your true heart intentions to the surface in order to make a choice, and then that will be your inevitability. You can change your reality with intention and choice, and eventually they will align. So you don't have to be in that job forever. You don't have to be in that marriage forever. When you set an intention to say, I want the happiest life for myself. I want the most successful, career path of what I'm good at. I want to be as strong as possible, working at the gym. My intention is to be physically as strong as I can be. And you commit to that intention with action and choice. That will be your inevitability, not your limitation. There's so much coming up to be released in the space when we feel stuck, in the space when we feel we don't have a choice. You're at the precipice of change because the realization that I do have a choice is your freedom. Much love, guys. Please like, subscribe, share. And if you like this video below, my website's down there. Check it out. If you want to touch base and just to say hi, sending you all angel kisses and angel wing, big hugs of love.